Okay, so let's get into the meat of it. Andersen will address recent press releases by the purported finder in her next pleading, and how the recent press releases are A, works of fiction, B, suggests that the end of the chase is a hoax thus far, and C, taunt and relate to Andersen. This is the old notion that she feels like she's being made fun of by the finder. She's talking about these press releases. I assume she's talking about things like medium.com. She sometimes sees things. Let's see, I watched one of her videos once, and she gave a reasoning behind thinking that Fenn was telling her something behind the scenes. In other words, something Fenn had said pertained to a private joke they had going back and forth. When she explained it, it didn't sound that far out. I mean, it was just like she interpreted something he said as possibly having to do with a private joke they had between them. It was private between them. He said something publicly that she interpreted as being kind of directed at her, like, Barb will understand what I'm saying. I forget what it was right now, but it wasn't that far out. So when she says things like that, it sounds paranoid to me. But then on the other hand, I think, I don't know all of this stuff. It's just like Colorado Searcher. Colorado Searcher has had a lot of emails with Forrest Fenn. People established relationships with Forrest Fenn. And, Forrest Fenn liked to communicate with a lot of people. And they, perhaps when Forrest would say things in interviews and stuff, they could see that it had something to do with them. How would I know that's not true? Because I don't really know what they've been saying privately and, their relationship. Andersen will then be renewing her request to question former counsel for Fenn as to A, who is the finder, e.g., whether someone retained by Fenn, if even a real person. She's actually bringing up the concept that the finder was someone that Fenn hired. We're back to the retrieval idea. Whether the Fenn estate is simply teasing, pranking Andersen, and for what purpose. My humble opinion, I don't think the Fenn estate has any. I don't really think the Fenn estate. I think Forrest Fenn had his little good old boy network going of his close friends like Doug and Dale and all them. And it just reminds me of a little kind of a group of guys who were carrying on this thing. And I just get the feeling, and I could be wrong, that the family was not necessarily that involved. And of course, I have no way of knowing that, but except maybe Shiloh. But I just get the feeling that the Fenn estate, unless, well, I'm not even going to go there. As far as pranking Andersen, I just don't, it doesn't seem reasonable with everything going on that they would be wasting their time pranking her. But what do I know? Teasing Andersen for what purpose? And she wants to know the current location. Is the chest in the possession of Fenn's estate or with the purported finder? And if it is with the Fenn estate, why would it be with the Fenn estate? I suppose you could even say that the finder did find it, but if the treasure is with the Fenn estate, like back in the vault or something, why? Is it something arranged between the finder and the Fenns? They can keep it there where it's safe? Who knows? I mean, see, again, these are the kind of questions I don't think you can just get answers to unless you have real evidence to get the court to go along with it. I mean, I get the feeling sometimes like Miss Andersen is kind of using this as a fishing expedition to get information. And she's using this case to get information. Well, of course she's doing that. The point I'm trying to make is she has to come up with evidence, right, on her own to get the court to go forward and do things like subpoena. Andersen will also be renewing her offer. Oh, she wants to go through the Fenn books, recent press releases, and the scrapbooks, and she'll do it on camera for the benefit. She basically wants to do a Zoom thing with the court where she will kind of go through the scrapbooks and stuff and explain the links and stuff. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. She says that former counsel for Fenn effectively admitted in docket 24 he has no legal authority standing to address this court. Given that the Fenn estate has not yet been established, I do not know what that means. Furthermore, in docket 24, she says former counsel for Fenn does not address any of the legal arguments in docket 18, something she had brought up. Oh, and then at the end, this was rather interesting too. She said that she did not understand why a death certificate had not been brought forth by the counsel for Fenn. And she said, which is standard practice and proper accepted evidence. You know, Fenn dies, and apparently she is, again, folks, knowing nothing about the legalities of this kind of stuff, I'm sure the court's just sitting there going, why do we have to show you a certificate of death for Forrest Fenn? Are you not accepting of the fact that Forrest Fenn is dead? I'm sure that's what, I don't know, folks, but maybe that's what the counsel, why they didn't ever produce it. They're just kind of like, what? Why do we have to produce a death certificate? Good, she brings that up. Here's something in this court's order. This court denied Andersen's objection to the fact that former counsel for Fenn and Fenn before him are third parties to this proceeding and lack standing to challenge the sufficiency of Andersen's complaint. Andersen renewed her objection that as a third party, Fenn nor his counsel have any standing to raise arguments that belongs to the alleged finder. I don't know, that's getting too murky for me to understand. I'm going to leave it at that, folks. You see what's going on here and why all of this to me is extremely interesting. Barb Andersen is trying to pursue to find out who the finder is. I don't know how we're ever going to find out otherwise. I don't know how we're going to find out the real ins and outs of the end of this treasure chase until someone forces the issue. If a Doug Preston or, you know, I said to someone, what if Doug Preston wrote a book and it was kind of all in there and they just thought that was hilarious. I don't know why some of my ideas seem so hilarious. Before I go here, what did Blackbeard say? Blackbeard said something on in my comments. Interesting that the Collected Works bookstore is still so prominently pushing all of Forrest's books, and all the while not explicitly mentioning that the bronze chest and gold has already been found. Oh wait. Blackbeard, in one of my comments, said, did you see that the Fenn family removed pretty much everything from Forrest's old Santa Fe Trading Company website, his blogs, the fake finder business, he thinks the finder business is totally fake, and all except for the book sales link, of course. He said also, Blackbeard also said, I see too where Dale commented to another searcher on his site that the Fenn family had gone and removed everything and that all the book sales are there on Shiloh's now, and Dale oddly then suggests that everyone buy from Collected Works instead of Shiloh. Are the cracks finally beginning to show between their former secret alliance already? One can only hope. See what I mean, folks? To me, this is the exciting stuff. What is going on in the background with the Fenn estate and the treasure and the finder? That to me, the actual location and the actual clues and the way they fit will all come eventually. I'm convinced of that. But right now, there's big stuff, in my humble opinion, going on behind the scenes with the Fenn estate and the end of the chase. And I would think people would want to know what's going on with that. And I know a lot do. Where are my things from people who have sent me? Oh yeah, Forrest Fenn's cult. All right. Here is something that someone someone sent me, and I thought it was really smart. This was a while ago. They sent it to me. They said, I think it was back when we were talking about the whole bracelet thing and the quote about the revenge, and me wearing my bracelet will be your best revenge, telling the finder that when they see me with the bracelet, it'll prove that you exist and that the chest exists, etc. I think it was around that period. I think the word revenge set off someone. And what they did was they communicated to me that Forrest Fenn was raided by the FBI in 2009, and their belief was that the chase, which was started in 2010, was Forrest Fenn's active revenge against the FBI, the BLM, the government in general, for raiding his house in 2009. I thought, that's clever. You never know. Could be, maybe. We'll talk about this in the future. I'm just telling you, whenever things come in that are pressing, like Barb Andersen's thing that I've actually done two-part videos on, and every time I got them ready to publish, they, I had shot two different two-part videos about what's going on now, but this one is going out. But every time I do it, someone will alert me to the fact something happened, and I'd go check it out, and then I'd be like, damn it, this kind of steps on what I just said in the video, so this one's going out regardless of what I read tomorrow or happens. Because I do think the Fenn chase could have been compromised. Oh, I don't know if I've talked about this before. I think I have. The documentary coming out, I have been told, will not have anything to do with women. Or if it does, it's minor. We know about Fenn and his women, right? Supposedly, the bimbos, the women who wanted to learn clues, so they were offering to do things for Fenn, or... I'm not going to get into all that. It's very easy for people to accuse you of things, especially when it gets into the sexes, for one to accuse the other with no proof. But this documentary, apparently, it's going to reveal something about Fenn that would hurt his reputation, is the best way I'll put it. And so people have their different theories as to what that might be, but we won't know until the documentary comes out. Supposedly it was going to come out by the end of the year, but you know what? With the way things are changing, all this information keeps coming out. I don't know what these people are doing. You could put out a documentary on this and it would just be a big dud, because everything you have in the documentary is known. Plus, you don't have stuff that's already come out about the finder on medium.com, etc. Oh, then someone asked, they said, did the family know the finder for them to add his link to his medium.com story on the old Santa Fe trading company? Oh, I don't know. That's the whole thing of that. That was probably a big mistake on their part, and that could be the reason that, they want to get rid of the link. They didn't want to make it too obvious, so they removed everything. You know what I mean? If suddenly just that link about that medium.com story went away and all the other stuff about the announcing the end of the chase and all that was left there, that would stick out. But then they remove everything and they could probably say, oh, we just, we felt it was no longer relevant or something. I don't know. Correct revenue statement. I don't know what that means. All right. Let's see, before I go on this one, I mean, I'm sure I'll be doing another one very shortly. By the way, remember, oh, I didn't know this. When you subscribe to this channel, I always say, you know, it's a good idea to subscribe because my videos are coming out more often than they used to. Keeping in mind, they used to go for over a month or something before I would do anything. Well, that's changed because there's a lot going on, but I'm more comfortable with doing the editing and stuff. It's kind of an arduous process, but once you get the hang of it, you no longer look at videos like, oh my God, I'm cutting out some work for myself. It's a little bit of work, but the more used to it, you know how that works. The easier it is. The point I'm trying to make is when you do when you subscribe, there's a little bell there, and I guess you go into that bell and it allows you to set the notifications the way you want, so you know what's going on when my videos come out, or any other channels that you subscribe to. All right, folks, that's all I got for you right now. I'm going to edit this puppy and I'm going to put it out regardless of what I read tonight or tomorrow about the latest with the Fenn estate or the finder or people claiming to know things about the end of the chase. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day and talk to you later.